What is your first memory? You know, that when you were a child. Anything comes up? Like when you were 2, 3, maybe 4 years old? Your first glimpse of consciousness, per se. I remember mine. I was probably 4 years old. I was at the seaside, and I was walking in a pine forest. I remember it so clearly. I remember, the sun filtering through the foliage. I remember the smell of the sap, how sticky it was. I was picking pine nuts. And you know what else I remember? I remember that I was there alone, and all the other kids were somewhere on a field next to the pine woods playing soccer. So I guess I was a weird kid. Can you relate with that? I mean, does any of you, I'm sure you must have felt weird about something of yourself when you were growing up. We all felt it. But to me, my mother must have been wondering. Everybody was by the shore playing with the ball, and I was on the dunes picking grasshoppers by myself. I'd rather get lost in nature more than hanging out with other kids. I guess that was just a bit strange. So that is my first disruption. It's that quiet difference must have been my first disruption. And it can be that quiet, huh? It can be as quiet as a boy walking through the woods instead of running in a soccer field. What I didn't know back then, because I thought about this a while, huh? I'm 51 years old, so I've been thinking, is that was my spring. And what does spring say? Spring says, grow. And spring, the growth in spring, it can be really undetectable. It can be underneath. It can barely noticeable. But the self does develop. Your identity does develop in the spring. And to me, what I did understand is that I might have not been turning out as expected. Maybe I was going to be a little bit different than what everybody expected of me. I didn't know what, but I was pretty certain by this point. So disruption is understanding that the identity develops itself even if it doesn't have any models to look up to, any inspirational goals to go to. But then came the following season for me, and that's summer. And summer, it's big, huh? It's hot, and summer says shine. And to me, I moved to New York, 19-year-old, moved to New York. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be famous. The jazz hands do help with the fame. Well, I kind of did that. I went out there, and I was seen. I did get my gigs. I did taste it. And, it was great. It was summer. It was expansion. It was visibility. It was energy, all of it. But within me, I felt that something was lacking. I don't know. There was this expectation of what I was supposed to be. I'm not going to put down fame, huh? Fame is great. Success, great. The perks, the clothes, the traveling, the incredible places you visit, the people you work with. I worked with some incredibly talented people. But, imposter syndrome, that sort of, those waves of insecurities that come with it, it was harsh. At times, it was really harsh. That expectation, that putting out an image of myself that was bidimensional. Was I performing a version of myself, or was I being myself? I thought about that a lot. That's disruption as well. When you understand that your truth might not be what is perceived outside. It's something that you're putting out. So you're really focused on what are you doing? What is it looking like? What are you wearing? Who you're sleeping with? Are you hiding something? Are you showing everything? So that creates tension. And with tension come eventually the cracks. And the cracks with me came with the fall, which is the perfect name for this season, the fall. And I fell big time. I was about 42, and my career from the highest point, the biggest movie I'd done, just stopped. Literally. I couldn't get arrested, really. I had no work, and the relationship, the longest relationship I've ever had, ended. And I had this incredible, daunting realization that all the happiness that was in store for me was behind me. Like there was no more happiness coming my way, ever. And that's a hard thing to face. It truly was. I mean, I had a 7-year-old daughter by then, and I was like, how can I show myself to this child and show her hope, drive, willingness to go on? I was lost. But in that tundra, in that desolate land of hopelessness, I found that silence that is required to eventually grow a small embryo, to listen to your heart that will spark a new life. And the new life for me came eventually when I met Alessandro. Yeah, not a big shocker, a man. A lot of people know that already. But for me, I met someone when I didn't expect it, and this person had a passion for life and loved so many things that reminded me of, guess whom? Of that kid looking for pine nuts and getting lost in the forest looking for grasshoppers. And it's incredible what happens when you find alignment in that. Because all of a sudden, I was touching new ideas, caressing new dreams, and those brought us to places that I never thought I would be. I ended up buying a farmhouse in the countryside near Luca. I started making honey, cultivating herbs to make gin, which is, I tasted it. I tasted mine probably. It was the third gin I tried, but I loved the idea of creating something from nature, from foraging. It was incredible. And then from then we started doing hospitality, and I designed this house, and I became a judge for design on a TV show. Who would have thought? And then eventually I started cooking. I love cooking. So I started cooking for our guests, and then I wrote a cookbook. And who knows, maybe I'll be in TV cooking for people one of these days. I did not expect that. But all those little things, all those new interests, all those new passions, they fuel me every day. And they make me happy. So this disruption, remembering the self, it's a disruption that actually puts you back together, that recomposes you. So when it comes to winter, I gave to winter, it's when the self gives back. I don't know why. I think it's a moment that we gather close in winter. We keep warm with each other. And for me, winter is about living a fulfilling private life, full of passion, full of love, full of people that I love and care for, but at the same time going out there and having a public life and sharing this experience, which, by the way, in little parts, but starts all those ego-centered dynamics that I've spent a lot of time trying to unlearn. But that's okay, because I realized that this dwelling, the hardship of being towards appearing, that dwelling between these two allows me to share this experience because we do connect through our insecurity. It's our imperfections, our vulnerabilities that allow us to connect with people. In a world that is so obsessed with perfection, aesthetics, success, the disruption is the fact that we can actually connect with people through our insecurities and sharing our fears, because that gives us the opportunity to grow together. That's real growth, because it brings everybody with us. So, what can I leave you with? Live truthfully. Speak openly. And whatever season you're in, live through it with courage, with care. That's so important. Because the heart will tell you. The heart will tell you to grow when it's spring. It'll tell you to shine when it's summer. It'll tell you to remember when it's fall, and to share and give when it's winter. Yeah, that same heart of yours. He'll never lie to you. So do that every day for 1 minute. Just stare in front of the mirror and put a hand on your chest and thank that heart, because he's been with you all along this incredible journey of ups and downs. And he's never skipped a beat. He's always kept going, pumping energy for you, always letting you know what was the truth within you. It's quite incredible, actually. It's been here all along. We just didn't listen. So, whatever season you're in, don't rush it. Live it fully and be yourself. That is the most disruptive thing you can do. Is just be who we are. Thank you.